Rob Fellows with truly his most amazing start of the year. Now, the super teams may have had a problem with setup and everything up to this point at Trois Rivières, but suddenly it's the super teams dominating. The Sunoco 94 group, of course, out front for Mackenzie Financial, and the Motormaster gang in here. Mind you, Kenny Wilden still very much a factor here in number 17, the red car, Pat.
Well, we're looking at a couple of great battles up front in this lead pack. There is the race for third between Cadman 71 in the black Motormaster car and Kenny Wilden in that red 17 Pringle Slick 50 Camaro. And now Spinard trying to close up here on Rob Fellows, and he has made up quite a bit of ground over the last couple of laps. They go through. There is Betts still holding on to the fifth place position. Right behind him, Norman Boye. They still have not removed. They're just about to get the Sean Grossman Embassy Suites Camaro out of that turn 2 area. Again, out onto the long straightaway section here on Boulevard du Carmel. Rob Fellows in that yellow number 1 Sunoco Ultra 94 Mackenzie Financial car leading. Then Spinard and Cadman in the black Motormaster Camaros, and then the man who heads the point standings, Kenny Wilden, who's had that marvelous run, 5 for 5, including his last win that came at the Oval at Cayuga Speedway. Wilden won this race a year ago, but right now he sits back in the 4th place position. And now that front-running group really starting to tighten up, Jim, as Fellows has been reeled in by the 2 Motormaster cars of Spinard and Cadman along with Kenny Wilden.
Kenny Wilden wants to make it a record. He'd love to get that 6th victory here at Trois Rivières to top Richard Spinard's record from the past. They're both tied at 5 wins each, but if anyone looks like a race winner here today, it's the man in front here, Rob Fellows, our reigning champion again. A good 3-4 car lengths. Now, Cadman has to go at Spinard for second.
John Cadman taking a look as the 2 cars go side by side. Cadman up to the outside of Spinard, and Richard trying to hold him off, the 2 Motormaster teammates, and Cadman has gone through in a second. Beautiful pass there by John Cadman as he now moves up to second, Spinard third. Kenny Wilden runs in the 4th place spot. There's a little bit of a gap on the racetrack. Back to another ferocious 4-way fight going on for what is the 5th place spot. That involves Terry Betts, Peter Cohen, Norman Boye, and Jeff Lapsovich as we look at the lead group off the end of Boulevard du Carmel. There goes Wilden on the inside looking for the 3rd place spot on Spinard, and he'll get it. Kenny Wilden takes over the 3rd place position, and now we ride along with the new 3rd place driver, Kenny Wilden, who's had really a storybook season so far and has really elevated his driving from what we saw in the series of a year ago. Spinard trying to keep it close. There is 17, Kenny Wilden. Spinard right with him, and now that second group appears to be actually catching the group ahead of them on the racetrack. There's Rob Fellows by about 10, maybe 12 car lengths. Then it is Cadman 71, 17, Kenny Wilden in the red car runs third. Spinard in the second of the black Motormaster cars is 4th. Then Terry Betts leading that second group that are fighting for the 5th place spot.
Rob Fellows, our reigning champion number 1, is ignoring all this tremendous war for 2nd place, and he is actually gaining from this, Pat. And now Rob Fellows is beginning to put a little distance between himself and this fight for 2nd place overall. Kenny Wilden may have a little problem getting by John Cadman, and certainly Spinard has not dropped off the pace here.
Well, that battling that's been going on for that 2nd place position has allowed Rob Fellows, there you can see the margin as they make the run down the Boulevard du Carmel. It's about 2 seconds. And now Wilden, 17, looks as though he is going to try to set up Cadman for the pass. He takes a look on the inside, a little bit of contact there between the 2 drivers. And now Wilden pulls up alongside. There goes Spinard. He'll follow his teammate. And they're 3 wide on the straightaway as they head through turn 7. Spinard and Cadman, and Wilden, I think, will get the worst of that as he got shuffled back. Here comes Spinard looking for the 3rd place spot. No, Wilden holds on. Kenny drifts wide, and Spinard will move through on the inside to take over that 3rd place position. There is Richard Spinard up in a 3rd as they come out of the Ryan hairpin.
Oh, Terry Betts gets a little crunched up here as well. And Peter Cohen is a part of the fray. Everyone wants to grab this 2nd, 3rd, or 4th spot, and they are really fighting for it at this stage. Meanwhile, again, our race leader, Rob Fellows, begins and carries on running away.
Well, that was number 50, Norman Boye, who was trading paint with Terry Betts. There is the 2nd and 3rd place cars. There's Betts, followed by Cohen now, who has moved up into the 6th place position. Norman Boye getting the worst of that contact. He drops back into 7th, but the action here has been ferocious, particularly in these early laps. Rob Fellows, number 1, continues to lead it. It is John Cadman Jr. in second.
Oh, hard to believe only 5 laps are gone. Rob Fellows, the race leader, pretty well in charge. Then John Cadman, Richard Spenard continue the fight. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Players Limited GM Motorsport Series on TSN from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. It's a 35-lap run this year, a little longer race, but boy, they did not start off gently here today, Ben.
Well, they have really been hammering on each other all the way through the top 10. Rob Fellows, your leader. Now we look at the race for second between the two Motomaster Camaros. John Cadman in car 71 in second. There is a challenge, and yes, on the inside, beautiful pass at the end of the long straightaway as number 46, Peter Cohen, has moved up into that 5th place position. So Cohen may be the fastest driver on the racetrack. There is 17, the current points leader, the man who is undefeated in Players Limited GM Motorsport Series racing this year. Kenny Wilden, Spenard getting a little bit wide as the drivers using all of the racetrack and then some. Spenard trying to get around his teammate John Cadman to reestablish himself in that 2nd place position. But meanwhile, Rob Fellows still your leader. Cadman 71 in second, and Fellows continues to open up the advantage. There's 42. Your 3rd place driver, Spenard, then Kenny Wilden. A little bit of a gap back to the 46 car, and that is Peter Cohen, your new 5th place driver. Terry Betts runs in 6th, and then it is the 50 car of Normand Boyer wanting in the 7th place position. But while they continue to fight for this 2nd place position, that is allowing Rob Fellows to get away from this great 3-way fight going on for 2nd.
We thought maybe we were watching a little bit of the old Kenny Wilden here, sitting back in 4th spot. Now look at this, he goes to the inside. I think it is the old Kenny Wilden, a little more daring, taking more chances. Not the same sort of cool, collected, smooth Wilden we've seen up to this stage of the season, Pat.
Well, Kenny's pre-race speech was about being consistent and finishing in the points, but he's going out there and just hammering with Spenard and Cadman for the 2nd place position. There's Kenny Wilden. He's had the perfect season so far. 5 starts, 5 wins. Again, the fastest man on the clock as he again was the fastest of the drivers here in qualifying. As we look a little bit further back, Shane Grossman there in the 92 car. Some of the other drivers having their personal battles a little bit further back on the racetrack. Ronnie Schell there in the 14 car. There's one of our top Rookie of the Year contenders, Shane Grossman, in the STP Camaro, the number 92 car, having a pretty good run here with Ronnie Schell.
Interesting to watch how these fights are shaping up all through the pack. So it's not only here up front, because it really has become a little bit of a runaway for, this is the old Rob Fellows we're watching today. I tell you, Pat, he's putting in a great run at Trois-Rivières. Maybe the inspiration of his brother being here this weekend, running the Trans Am event.
Well, Rob, of course, is our defending Eastern Series champion, has had a pretty disappointing season so far, and in a lot of cases has been in the wrong place at the wrong time, as evident by what happened at Cayuga. But he has been very, very smooth here all weekend, and right now holds a pretty good advantage over John Cadman, Richard Spenard, and Kenny Wilden.
Our leader from the start, Rob Fellows. The importance of that start, the focus on this week's Infotech. The most crucial time in any race is the start, and with the equipment not up to full temperature, it can pose great danger, as proven by last year's shootout. Now, what makes the start of the GM race even more challenging is the inversion of the top 6 starters. So the fastest driver starts 6th, and the 6th fastest starts 1st.
For the start, you would like to start first, as I will, but you know, honestly, we were trying to qualify better than that. We were looking for points and some money, but we end up having the best position to start the race. Let's put it this way: I'd rather win the race and qualify first. But yesterday, when I qualified, I would have rather to qualify first and make sure everything was working well.
With this series, with the inversion, you know, you go out, you take the chance that when you are quickest, you got five cars to pass before you can get to the front. So that makes it really tough, and it gets tougher every year because the guys just get more and more experience, and to come from the 3rd row like that, it's tough.
Well, as tough as these professional drivers find the start, the key is always safety. And with each spot so valuable, the best drivers usually take the start very cautiously.
The first lap, I think, or the first corner and the start is important in terms of not getting into an accident, keeping your car in one piece and making it through the first corner. That's really all I worry about. And then after we get in a line and get going, you know, there's always opportunities to pass guys and make some good moves, but if they're not there, you've just got to stay in line and stay comfortable with that, not make a mistake.
Well, it was a dust-filled tornado-type start here at Trois Rivières today, no question, Pat. And that's how the race is going right now as well.
Well, that race for second place continues fast and furious around this street circuit. It is John Cadman holding on a second. His teammate Richard Spinard trying to hold off Kenny Wilden. Wilden parked right behind Spinard as he takes a look on the inside. The driver's heading down through one of the real hard braking sections, and they really do test the brakes on these Camaros from 180 kilometers down to about 80 to get through turn 6. Wilden a little bit of a slide, and Kenny is really pushing the car, trying to stay with Cadman and Spinard. Meanwhile, Rob Fellows has been able to open up a pretty good advantage here of at least a couple of seconds, and Rob Fellows appears to be running a very smooth, controlled pace, really conserving the tires and the brakes on his car. This race for second has been very, very close as they come out of the Ryan hairpin and now into Villeneuve corner to come back onto the start-finish straightaway. There's Kenny Wilden, 5 wins in a row so far this year. And of course, all of these drivers up in the lead group would love to end Kenny Wilden's winning streak here at Trois Rivières.
Well, the Motormaster team seem to be running a set line, Pat, whereas Kenny Wilden in this event varies his thoughts on that line, it seems, with every corner, right? Kenny just seems a little more erratic than he has been in the past. And again, I think we'll watch him probably, no, this time he's going to stay to the inside, but he tries to get up close on Spinard once more, pulls in a little tighter, and then he'll sing off to the outside one more time. Oh, no, here he goes to the inside. He'll fool us each time.
Well, Kenny trying different lines down that long run on Boulevard du Carmel. Here is Wilden taking a look on the inside. The two drivers touch as they go through turn 6. Spinard gets a little sideways. Kenny Wilden right up alongside of Richard Spinard. They're still running door handle to door handle for third place, and Wilden will just inch ahead. Here comes Spinard batting right back, and again the two drivers hammering on each other. Wilden goes through into the third place spot.
Wilden is through. Okay, you know who's gaining on this is the blue car. Keep an eye on Peter Cohen. Oh, look at this. Spinard is by one more time. He edges Kenny over into the dust. And again, Cohen comes right up on Wilden. This is getting to be very interesting. Now it's a trio that are fighting for the spot, man.
While Peter Cohen benefiting from the action ahead of him between Spinard and number 17, Kenny Wilden, as they work their way back through turn 1. There you can see just how close it is among those 3 drivers. Cadman going through, and Cadman also opening up a pretty good advantage over his teammate Spinard, along with Kenny Wilden and Peter Cohen. Of course, Cohen has got a lot of people from Montreal cheering him on. He is one of the real talented drivers in this series who maybe has not had the sponsorship backing to really allow him to display his talents, but right now he is right in the thick of a great three-way fight going on for third as they come through here. Spinard holding on, but just barely to that third place position. Wilden is right there, and Cohen parked right behind Kenny Wilden.